Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Shelf Indulgence. We're so glad you guys could join us today.
Yes, thank you for being here. We're looking forward to spending some time talking about books and more specifically about reader advisory, the external question, what to read next.
Yeah, because as much as we love finishing a great book, the next question is always the same. What comes after this? And are there more books like this one?
Exactly. That's where today's conversation comes in. We'll be exploring some favorite reads and pairing them with recommendations that capture a similar appeal.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be looking at the elements that connect them, like the tone or character, the pacing, and overall just the reading experience.
So whether you're here for your own reading list or thinking about how to recommend books to other people, we hope this gives you a few useful ideas.
Yeah. So without further ado, let's get into it.
All right.
What we always wait for. This is our moment here. As you see, we have a wonderful collection of some books that we will be discussing, but I don't know, how do we even start this?
I think the biggest thing is what is reader advisory, or how do you go about it? Maybe would be a better way.
Yeah, that would be a good. Yeah, I was like, how do we start this? What is it? What would you say it is, Katie? You start with yours.
You know,
And
I
I'm
was
like,
I know for me, reader advisory, I mean, it mainly is from a librarian's point of view. It's somebody coming in and saying, oh, I really love this book. I have no idea what to read next. Do you have any suggestions? So the first thing I ask them is, well, what was the last book you read? And what did you like about it? I mean,
Yes.
it all depends on that pretty much. And then if you aren't getting anywhere, then you ask them, what was your least favorite book? What did you hate about that book? So it's kind of knowing that helps you know their likes and dislikes.
Yes, absolutely. Because you can't just go off of like the title and just say, oh, well, it was fantasy and it was just because not every fantasy book is going to be the same. And they all have
Exactly.
different characters, they all have different like we say, themes inside of them. And so it's not necessarily just, the genre. You can't just go off of the genre. And this is where I feel like the librarians come in handy. Because you do get to have that one-on-one. And now I know we will talk a little bit about some places that you can find online that
Yes.
will help you kind of find those comparisons. But or anybody or your next, a bookseller, whoever your little places out there that do that, they get to know you. You get to tell them like what stories, and that is right. Like we
Yes.
definitely, you got to read more into just what the title was or what the genre was. You ask them a few more questions, like why did you like
Yes.
this book? What was it that you liked most about this book? Was it the ending part? Was it the character itself, like the main character? Like what is it that called you?
Yeah, the emotional aspects of it, or the narrator,
Yeah.
or
Is it funny, like to you? Was it because it was a, romantic, funny situation? Because, there's a ton of different romance books as we know as well, but they're all different.
Yes.
I mean, is it your typical, just boy meets girl kind of thing? Or is it because they met through very unusual circumstances? Because then that's giving you a little bit more idea, I think, on
Exactly.
what they're looking
Is it more
for.
quirky or just your standard romance?
Right.
It's
Right.
yeah,
And that's exactly what I think the reader advisories is. You're just looking into more than just the title
Yes.
and just the author. I mean, you're trying to find out exactly what called
To them.
to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is what that is, in case anybody's wondering. We're basically just that. And then you yourself can be your own reader advisory because
Exactly. Just ask yourself these questions.
you just kind of look like, why did I like this book so much? Like, what was it? Because there's a lot of authors. How many authors have we not read that people say like, oh, I really loved all these books, but this book wasn't the same for me. Like it didn't call my
And it's
attention.
because each book has a different aspect that it's pulling out. Even I could go into one of mine. I was going to say, for a good example, like Kristin Hannah, she has so many different types of books. A lot of hers do stem more towards the historical and character driven, but yet some are more historical, like resilience through wars. Some are more just wartime stories, and some are the emotional family bonds that bring us together or tear us apart.
Yes.
And so mine was this one, the women, if you like that, it all kind of depends on where you're going with that. If you liked the historical aspects of it, you're gonna like Kristen Harmel probably, and then probably Kate Quinn. Didn't take my rubber.
Oh, yes.
Kate Quinn for if it's like historical resilience through wars and historical. And then for family dynamics, I think a real good one comparison would be Lisa C. Her family dynamics, now it is all within the Chinese culture, and a little bit before communism took over, sorry. And but again, it's all about what are you looking for? She has hers kind of stay in the same themes, but yet one can be more of a modern story and one would be more of a historical. So it just kind of depends. That's where you have to narrow it down.
Right, then that's you get a little bit more
What
like,
did you like about that author?
yeah, like you said, like that, like were you into the history about it? Like, did you like that they were talking a little bit more historical facts and that you were
Yes.
just like, oh,
Or did
okay,
you
yeah,
like the
that.
contemporary part of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so then you're just picking up all that. And yeah, I'm like, if we want to kind of go into why we picked whatever
Kind of
other
good
books,
example.
yeah. So that way you can kind of see in an example visual that we have here what we're meaning about what you pick up. So since you did one, I will go with, I know you guys know that I do like reading psychological thrillers, and I like anything to do with mystery and kind of, crime solving stuff. So I am big again on Karen Slaughter, but to find something that has to do, and I like it, I think, because it's the crime. I like the crime part. And I like that there's always a twist and that it could sometimes be dark.
Yes.
Because I feel you always think sometimes the characters are always good, but really it's always those people who are good but end up doing bad things for the greater good, so it's always that kind of mixture where I like the characters always kind of flawed, and we say I like the characters
in the gray,
where you're just like it could happen to anybody, absolutely, kind of a thing. So for example, for that I have Gone Girl here, so that it's just, again, it's those comparisons that it has crime and it has that dark twist to it. So this is a good example of why you would pick up the book. Now the story itself is not going to be like Karen Slaughter.
It's not always about the story, it's more the themes within it, like you said.
Yeah, like what's like, yeah, exactly. Like, just watching a show or something, again, it's those things that capture you. And it's funny because even the TV will also find you like, hey, if you found this similar to this, and it gives you those like, if you like this show, you should watch these other, and it starts giving you examples, right?
Exactly.
So that's what I feel like. This is what we're technically doing, the same thing with the books. Now I'm like, oh yeah, and again, Gone Girl. So if you're into crime and kind of dark, twisty kind of stuff of that nature, like Karen Slaughter, then this would be one of the good examples that has the same type of crime and dark twist to it. Again, they're not going to be the same. If anybody's read Gone Girl, it's not.
Right, it's going to be different than Karen Slaughter, but yet they have the same themes, like you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, you're not. And that's kind of another thing, is that when you're going into a book that you're recommending that has similarities, you have to know that they're not going to be exactly the same.
Right.
And you can't go in expecting that it's going to be the same style outcome. It's what you're picking up and what you're reading is going to be, again.
It's what you're wanting, to get out of it.
Get out of it, and not necessarily what the story is about.
Right.
Just, just because you like dragon books doesn't mean that every dragon book story that you're going to read is going to be something like, oh, well, here they made the dragon bad, here they made them where they were bad, or they mistreated them or something. So it just depends. Like, what did you like about it? The fact that you could ride one?
Yes.
Then that's a different
story. Or just the fantasy in general? Yes. Like the world building or...
Yeah, because every world that you're reading that has a dragon is going to be completely different.
Exactly.
Right? But if your whole thing was anything to do with dragons, you're going to enjoy it because they have the dragon aspect in it, but it's not going to be the same world. And that's what you have to know. Like when you're getting into those recommendations, just know that you're picking up on some of the similarities. And then eventually though, when they come back and they tell you like, hey, well, yeah, I like this one exactly. This is exactly what I wanted. And you'll hear that. And then there's times where like, it wasn't what I was expecting. And it's because that means that they were picking up on different cues from that other book. And
exactly.
So they're like, what did you like about this
one?
Yeah, then you're like, well, what did you like about this one? Then you're knowing, and you can pick up like, what exactly is it that they're looking for? Right?
I was like, that happened to me. This is something I just realized. And since you had talked about Gone Girl, when I was researching, I really liked this book, Mrs. March. And I figured out that I really liked the unreliable narrator, where you can't completely trust the person that's actually talking in the book, giving you the story from that perspective. And again, this one is just about her life and her perspective of what's going on. And there's a twist at the end. But one that's just totally different, is this new book that's come out called, and I put this cover on this book. We don't have it yet, but it's called Yesteryear. And it's an unreliable narrator as well, but it's a completely different story. She's, part of social media and the TikTok craze or the Instagram craze, whereas this one's just a housewife that is at home and seeing things from a very different perspective, but yet they are both unreliable narrators.
Yeah, this is before we had all the technology.
Yes,
this is after
all that.
Got it.
And so if you really like unreliable narrators, there's a huge broad spectrum, because Gone Girl is an unreliable narrator too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I've just figured out that I really like. And so, but the book can be about something completely different. It's just because that narrator, that character-driven narrator, is unreliable, and I enjoy the psychosis and the psychology
you're
of that.
like, oh yeah, you think, and then you're like, wait a minute, yeah.
But and in this one, the reader really doesn't know what's going on until the very, very end. And so
so then you're lost with them. You're kind of like, wait, what's happening?
I know. I was very lost in this one, but it was an enjoyable lost. It wasn't like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's not one of those. Yeah, I was like, there's a different loss where you're just like, I couldn't understand what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're understanding what's happening, but you're lost with it. Feeling like you're in their world, lost and like confused into what I don't understand.
You do feel a bit confused in this one too. I mean, that was what I was craving, was that I don't know why, but I was like, I really enjoyed it.
You like those unreliable.
I like being lost.
So if you don't find us, it's because we've gotten lost.
That's right.
I have this one here, which is called The Measure as well. This one is, if you like any of the Mitch album.
Yes.
Album, right? Mm-hmm. Stories. They're always, I feel like some sort of like feel-goody sort of style. They have this really, I don't know, they're really.
You come away feeling, I don't know, warm.
And I was going to say, it's just like a different feeling. Yeah, it's like it's something like they pick up different parts of what you're picking up from it. And the book that I have here in comparison for is like The First Phone Call from Heaven. And for me, I was actually, when I read that book specifically, I was like, I really liked the whole thing. And then the whole story, I was really into it. But when it was getting to the end, I was getting disappointed, because then I'm like, oh, because I feel like, oh, they brought me down to earth, back to the real world. And it's kind of one of those like, how dare you? I was already living in this fantasy of you can make phone calls and stuff of that nature. But if you like that kind of a style, which is what I was like, I have here, I'm like, what is it called? The Measure. It is what they call philosophical.
Oh,
and emotional.
Yes.
That's what, The Measure is very similar, because it leans into that kind of a story. And again, and we're picking up not necessarily what the story is about, but it is picking up what those things are. And so that's what those two, I know, like I try to, it's those hard words I would get, but it's, it goes, we're talking about life, the anxiety of those kinds of things, those questions, anything about this one's talking about a lifespan. I don't know if you guys have known what this one's about, but it's literally where you get like, I think it was like a time, you get some sort of a clock. They give you a clock at a certain point.
I've been meaning to read this.
Yeah, and it gives you, this is how long you're going to live.
Oh my gosh.
So then you're like, what do you
live
do?
Life to the fullest.
Yeah, and so you have like this clock, it's literally a clock that's ticking away, and what are you going to do? And that's what we're talking about, like the anxiety, same thing with the phone calls. It's like, am I going to get that phone call, the anxiety, the thing that you want to do, and it's the same thing but it's you. So this book is about like a clock that's telling you when your time, what are you going to do if it's a week, 10 years?
So much time.
Yeah, like if they're getting like you have like 1 month or you have a year and all that stuff. And so I don't know. I think that's a thing again where you like, that you have an expire date and you see it. Like we all know that it's come, like we know that in real life.
Definitely would be the philosophy of life. Is like,
and that's what this
it all comes down to.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, my gosh, I can't believe I haven't myself read it. Now that I know, because as I was looking into it, I was like,
because you're right. You like Mitch. Yes.
Yes. And I was just like, oh, okay, I can see that. I was like, what would I do? What would you do? I said, my gosh, knowing that you have this much time, what do you do with that time?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, we're going to be working, just having your dog.
Probably won't be reading books, but hopefully you're out and about.
And again, that's what it's like, it gives you that thing where you're like, what do you do? And I'm assuming that they talk about these characters in there and like what each one of them, how their perspectives are, how they're seeing things.
Yes.
So I think that, yeah, definitely, this is a good, as well, like, you know, kind of, if you like Mitch album, this would be
I was gonna say,
something that
and
would
like Theo of Golden might fit with that one too, because it's end of life, what he's doing kind of with his life.
with his life.
Yes,
Yes.
his philosophy. Yeah, I could see that one, maybe an aspect of it being pulled out of there.
Right, yeah, like if you're pulling,
Mhm.
like, maybe it's not what knowing that, like that one might, like, he doesn't give you
Right.
anxiety, like that book doesn't give you
Right, no,
anxiety
it
about
doesn't. It's
something.
very slow
It's
paced,
yeah,
very
but
just,
you know, you're knowing why he's doing that
Yes.
eventually, and you know that he's being a good person. And again, it's a feel-good
Mhm.
style book. Definitely, if you're not looking, if you don't like the anxiety part of it, that would be Theo
Yes.
Golden is one of those, like,
Yeah.
it's just, you want that nice,
Yeah,
feel
you're right.
good kind of thing. And these other ones are, these other two.
You're right.
Right, that's why I was like, if you pick it, that's how, like, see it, it all depends on what you're picking up, what did you want out
What
of
you're
it.
after.
And if you enjoyed these books, but you didn't like that feeling of, oh my gosh, like
You
I
just want the feel good, then.
yes, then
yeah.
that is definitely where we would lean you towards.
Yes.
And this is where we pick up all of our cues.
That's
When
right.
we try to do a good job as
Yeah,
best
when we try.
picking up what you're
All right.
picking up what you're given.
My last one, I wanted to throw a junior fiction one in,
Yes.
and one we get a lot is that, kiddos, they really like the Percy Jackson series, or they like Rick Riordan in general. And, so one that I found that is a lot like that is The Serpent's Secret by Sayantani Dasgupta. I'm sure I said that terribly wrong. But one like that, or Wings of Fire,
Yeah.
you know, there's lots of different, and again, this would be more probably the fantasy aspect, or I know for if you like Wings of Fire, there's a clans aspect in there. So the Warriors is another one for junior fiction.
Okay.
Readers. It's all about what you're after. So again, they're all fantasy or mythology, but then what is that you're pulling
out of it.
Is it, you know, clans and honor and being together and fighting for something, you know, then you'd want to go more towards Wings of Fire and Warriors. But if it's more just the mythology and the adventure, you're going to go more towards Rick Riordan and this series here.
Yeah.
So it's just,
Right, and again,
but
yeah, it
that's the
depends on
big
what you're
one we
picking
get
it.
for junior fiction.
Yes.
Is all of
And I know the
what
Warriors
to
is
read
also one
next.
of the ones that gets picked up.
Oh, yes,
Picked
yeah.
up a lot. And again, I think it character driven, as well as you're saying, like, is it they're looking for the clans, as you were saying, like, are they looking for that, or the connection, being part of a group?
Exactly.
Or are you picking up the one that's outcasted? Because like,
Yes,
do you feel
and
like
that's
you're the
another-
outcast? And so are you picking up
Yes.
that eventually that outcast becomes their own, and then people start going towards gravitating?
Which may be more the, Rick Riordan or the Serpent
Right, because you know, you
Secret.
think like they're alone, they don't have like this huge group.
Yes.
They eventually make friends throughout the way, you know, like you're reading the stories, but they start off like
That's a
that,
good
you know,
point.
kind of, again, like even Harry Potter, no family,
Yes.
you know, like, are we looking for those kinds of
The outcast.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, the
That's a
outcast that just
great
doesn't
point.
fit anywhere, and that's where
Mhm.
that's why you're liking that story, you know. So
Exactly.
yeah, and
Yeah.
again, this is where we have to try to pick up some of these keys. What are you picking up out of this book? And which is why we ask a lot of questions, like,
Yes.
what are you looking for? Like, what, you know,
I
what are
know.
you feeling?
Very
So we know-
open-ended questions, so we don't just get yes, no, maybe.
Yes, just a little bit more feedback on that. I was like, before I give you guys my, like, talking about that, so I had like somebody this last weekend tell me about like dystopian books. They said, you know, I really like, you know, and they're giving me titles of books, and then at the end, she's like, I really like dystopian style books. And then so this is what we have to work with, right? You're like, okay, so dystopian, what are we talking about here? And then you have to try to remember like what character, like what other titles did they give you while they're giving you all these examples. And so then I'm like, I have my little notes here as well, so I don't forget. But I was like, if you like a like dystopian style books, I said, you need to pick up, and I gave her like Legendborn. I was like, because they were looking for a whole new series, and we're talking to, you know, a teenager that was asking those kinds of questions, and they don't know how to really explain what they're picking up from there.
They're the toughest, honestly.
Yeah, it's like because
middle grade and teen, yeah.
Yeah, because they're still trying, again, they're figuring out what
they
they're
like.
enjoying out of a book and what they're picking up out of it. And so then I'm like, okay, well, you know, I said, well, you know, pick up this book if you're talking about like somebody who's, again, we're talking character driven, somebody who doesn't fit in. Are we looking for that? What kind of part of the dystopian world are we picking up? And so again, those are just those things sometimes we have to figure out we figure out a little bit more. because again, we'll talk again before we're done here, like the aspect of going online, and I know you're gonna
Yes.
talk a little bit how you do those. But just know that there is all that, but you got to remember that it's only going to pick up a certain algorithm.
Right.
Which is again,
Always.
remember, hit up all of your librarians here because they don't go off of an algorithm.
Mhm.
We're going off of just what you're telling us, what you're picking up from the stories, and that is a nice
Yes,
thing
it's the
about
emotion you're after out of that book.
Yes, yeah, because if you put in a title, it's gonna give you like samples, like I said, this and this, but it doesn't really know what you were picking up. It's just gonna give you things
Right.
that are kind of similar, but it doesn't mean they're exactly alike. There's just no such
Yes.
thing as they are exactly alike.
And you wouldn't like that.
Yeah,
if the
and so
book was
because
exactly
yeah,
the
because then you're
same.
like, well, it's just like I just finished reading that other one. That was
Right, it's
you
like,
know.
that's too close to that one. I
Yes.
mean, whether you know it or not, you do want something
Something
different.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you want the same feel.
yes,
that
but you
book
want
gave
to
you,
add on to that
but you
feel.
want a different one.
Yeah.
Yes. And so my last example here is before we go into our how to find these.
Yes.
I read All Systems Read by Martha Wells, right? And so I
Yes.
like sci-fi that we're talking sci-fi, and she like that one was from, it's kind of like that got that funny. We're talking like like alternative life, but we're talking about a
Very
machine.
quirky, yeah.
Like a machine, and the machine itself has like the life that it's living, and I'm kind of following, even though it's a machine, like a half human, half machine. It's very interesting. It's a short read if you guys haven't read that, but you should pick it up. It's pretty funny and like really interesting at the same time. Feels very real lifey style. But like this one is a similarity to that. So this author here that we have here.
Becky Chambers, I
Yes,
think.
it's Becky
Okay.
Chambers, and it's Closed and Common Over, and she's got other, I know that she's
Yeah.
got a
She
few.
is a fantastic author.
She's got
She
a few
is.
other styles. And so if you're looking to, like it said, I think the difference from these two is it's like if you're trying to go into a world really fast, into a sci-fi world, it's not going to be like All Systems Read. It doesn't jump you in right away. All Systems Read, as soon as you started reading it,
Yes.
you were involved in that world, and you started off with just all the
And you had
quirks
to have to
stuff.
figure it out.
And this one is a slow, like this one's like you just walk in slow into the door. You're not just jumping in. And that was the way it gave me the
That's good.
description. It says you're walking into it slowly instead of just jumping into the book. And so
Yes.
that's what some of the books do, right? You don't
Yes.
realize, but like it gets you on the first page.
And there's some major quirky characters, and
Right.
I've read this one, but I've
Have
not
you?
read The Systems Read.
Okay, and now like so I
It's
was like,
but I could see them.
yes, I was gonna say the thing is like if you like that quirky character and something that
I
they were
love-
talking autonomies, or there's like a word for what they were calling the half
Yes, half cyborg.
that's what I was like,
I know.
I have the old school words about
I
like
know,
call
that's
something, but they're all called something different these days. But so these are the similarities into like, because we like that quirky character, and it is talking
Yes.
about a different life force that is not necessarily superhuman, but they still have the same quirks as a human does, and that's
Yes,
what I
and
think
they're
makes
figuring
it
life out.
Yes, and they're figuring life out exactly, and
Yeah.
they're like trying to be like, well, what am I supposed to do? I just want to. Do I listen to the humans? Do I not
Yes,
listen to the humans? I'm trying to be part of it. Then they're
Probably shouldn't listen to the
I was
humans.
gonna say we're just like they're like, what am I supposed to do? And I said, you know what? Welcome to our world. You are human now, because we don't know what we're doing.
That's right. That's good.
But that's what that is. And I did like the way it just says it. It's definitely a slow start when you're going in there. It's going to build you up versus the other one. It's just straight. As soon as you read the first chapter, it gets you.
Which can be kind of tough if you're not used to science fiction.
Yes.
So it's like, it is all on how you like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want them
to
build.
be forced into,
Yes. I was like, do you want to build a world and then you're like picturing it? Then you want like something a little slow starting. But if you are ready to jump into that black hole and just see what happens on the other side, then it is All Systems Read. Yeah.
I like that because you're pulling, but both have the same characteristics.
Yes.
Style of the book.
Yes, exactly.
Like that. So, like you said, how do we find these picks? I was like, I know for me, one big one I do now, this would just be if you're looking for an author like an author.
Yes.
So you're not putting in, like we were talking about, that it's character driven, and then many authors write this the same. There's just going to be different aspects within all of their books. So if you're looking for a like author, the main one that I try to use at the front desk here is called Literature Maps. And what you do is you just type in, it's literatureMaps.com. You just type in the author, and then it creates this, when I always do this, it goes like this, and it's all these different authors around it, and the author closest to it is the one most like it. And it will kind of group off. It looks just like a map where it's coming off of that author. And it'll group
so then
off.
it takes you in like the group, like, okay, well, this is similar, but it's the group of.
Yes. And if you know your authors, you kind of know, oh, well, this group over here is more apt to be more historical, and this one's more apt to be just character driven or emotional, family dynamics. But it's like this one author. I mean, we may know that, or you may know it if you know a lot of the authors too. But that's a main one that I use all the time.
Yeah, it's like I didn't know.
I love that one. But and then for me, Goodreads, when you curate your own list, or there's lots of lists already curated out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, definitely for me, that was Goodreads is the first thing I did, but I do like to hear that map one too, so I'm gonna have to look into it.
Yes.
But yeah, Goodreads, and I know it's because we pretty much, who hasn't heard of Goodreads, and we like to get a lot of our book styles and picks from there as well. But once you start picking up, like I said, it picks up what eventually with all the books, what you're after, so it starts giving you a little bit more examples of what, if similarities of what, if you like something like this, you might like something like this. And I always like that word might. Okay, just know that it doesn't mean you're going to be in love with it. It is not. I would say sometimes we'll find those books we're like, yeah, this just didn't do it for me.
Yes, I was like. Another website that we use a lot is Fantastic Fiction. And for that, you're looking up your author, but down, if you keep scrolling down, there's going to be like authors down below. So that one's a good one because if you hit your author and then you go to one of their series they likes or one of the books, if you click on that, then down below that is going to be like authors. So you can get a little bit more specific. But fantasticfiction.com is a great resource.
Amazing.
Okay, I'm gonna go to my next one. The other one is, I just learned about this one, and it's through Kansas State Library System.
Oh, okay.
So you do have to have a Kansas State Library card because it is through EBSCO through Kansas State, and it's called Novelist.
The Novelist.
Yes, Novelist. And like I said, I just learned about this one, so I need to look into it a little bit more too. But that one, you're putting in the titles that you like, and it's going to give you like ones too.
Awesome.
So it might be a little bit more. I wouldn't say trustworthy. It's just a little more scholarly. It's going to give you, detailed research.
Right. Each one of them. Yeah. I was gonna say each one of these websites, none of them is wrong. It's just, it picks up whatever. Like I feel like Goodreads is also picking up what we're inputting of people, the community, all the books that we're putting in, what we're saying that we got out of it. So it uses all that. And like now you're saying EBSCO, that they use it a lot for educational, and so they're picking up all that. So it's picking up different algorithms, but it's still doing the same. It's just that they all do in a different way.
Yes.
Just like us humans, the machines also try to pick up on what cues, and clues we're giving.
Putting down.
That's right.
Picking up what we're putting down.
Honestly, I think you were feeling this, but then, you're like, well, that was yesterday. Today I'm feeling this.
Right. Yes.
So it does as it can. And so, use those. And again, and just go off of, pick up a book and try it. It's always the best way. You never know. Just pick it up.
That is.
Try it. And if you love it, great. If you don't, that's okay. There's another book waiting for you.
That's right. Absolutely. Yes. That is right. So, well, I think I know. I was like, I think we're at an end tonight. It's like, well, as always, all good things must end. Like I said, I was like, thank you for spending this time with us and our ramblings.
That's right. That's right. As usual, we hope you come away with at least a few new ideas. Maybe just growing your list of future reads.
Right.
Yeah.
Reader's Advisory is all about making book connections, and it's always rewarding to explore how different books speak to one another. If you're unsure of what to read next, your library is always a great place to come. So come to us and we'll help you out.
See us, absolutely. We're always happy to guide you. That's right. We're always happy to guide you guys in your search. We have resources to help you find your next great read. As Katie said, we have a lot of other things we can also input besides just us, our guidance, but just come to the front desk and ask, what should I read next?
That's right. It's like, and remember, follow us on Instagram, Pioneer Memorial Library, all together, one word. And you can request email notifications through our website, colbylibrary.com. So make sure you like and subscribe.
Yes, absolutely. And again, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next month for the start of our summer learning program, which is Unearth a Story. So until then,
Keep reading.
we'll see you guys soon.